With racing season coming to a close here in Indiana, please enjoy this how-to content until we can get going next spring. Alright, in this video I'm going to be replacing the passenger side axle seal on my 95 Firebird back there. It's been leaking for a long time and it needs to be repaired, so follow along. I'm turning the car around to simply give myself more room to work on the passenger side of the car. The axle needs adequate space for removal. While editing this video, I noticed this little thing dangling down underneath the car, and no worries, it's just a piece of split loom tubing that had slipped off a wire. Seal that has been recommended via the internet is this 15141 SKF. It looks like this guy right here, and I'm only replacing the passenger side, but I bought two just in case you know, the driver's side or whatever start to leak. I have one to replace it with. I bought this bearing race and seal driver set on Amazon to properly install this seal, and it comes in a really nice little case. The bummer is this label is on the bottom, so when you go to open it, you can't see what it is, but thankfully they put another label inside here in the lid that tells you what to do, which is pretty self-explanatory, and these are the parts that I'm going to be using. It's always helpful to have some brake cleaner on hand. I had a can of brake clean, and then I ended up picking up a O'Reilly brand to just have a couple on the shelf, and some ultra black gasket maker to put on the outside of the axle. 19mm socket. Of course, I'm using my torque wrench improperly to remove these nuts, or I should say lug nuts. I'm going to break them all loose before I jack it up to take the wheel off. No, I am not using jack stands, but I am also not putting any part of my body under the car. Two 3/8" socket head cap screw bolts hold the caliper in place. This is an aftermarket rear disc brake kit that I purchased from Moser to go with their 12-bolt rear end. This car originally had drum brakes on the back. Okay, it's not the brake line leaking, which I didn't think it was. This guy off. Maybe. One persuasion. Here I have the brake caliper removed, and I'm getting ready to take the rotor off to access the back of the axle to pull the axle out. Little love tap, off she comes. Alright, now they are 14 millimeter, which is probably equates to something like 1/2 inch or something. 9/16, like that. Alright, you can see the 4 bolts. I got a wrench on one of them. They are 14 millimeter, and I will take them off to remove this caliper bracket, and then the axle will slide right out. Catching in gear oil that will drip out, and some rags to hold on to the nasty axle when I pull it out, because it'll have fluid all over it. Alright, these blues. Nice thing about the brake caliper kit, I can set the caliper on the axle tube. I don't have to support it with any wire or anything. It rests right there out of the way. I cut a slot on this bracket so I can pull it off. That had a little more material on it, and wouldn't let me pull it off of there without taking the axle out every time, and I thought, well, that's kind of ridiculous. So I cut a little bit of it off. Didn't hurt anything. Alright, now this axle should come out. Theoretically. It should come out. Or not. I used ultra black on it. It's probably going to be a pain in the neck to get out. You know, persuasion bar. I don't think that's going to come out. I think it's glued in there. Pretty good. Oh, there we go. Got it. Okay, as you can see, I've got the axle partially popped out, and that's the bearing on the end. Obviously, I used a lot of gasket sealer on it to try to curb the leak, which didn't work. All right, now we're going to pull this axle out. Hopefully, it won't make too big of a mess. Good at all. I hate that smell. I have never liked the smell of gear oil, and from what the internet tells me, a lot of people don't like the smell of gear oil, and this website says it's because of a sulfur content in the oil. So now we know. I don't want to leave that axle standing up on the end like that. Line looks good on it. Lay her down. That is some gasket maker that has popped back in the axle. Thankfully, it's not made its way to the diff. Okay, I don't see any more pieces in there, which is good. The leftover ultra black inside the axle tube is preventing the seal from seating properly. Now we need to cut that gasket out there. It's going to be in the way. I spent a lot of time walking back and forth. That's a trademark of my video, I think. Okay, now need to figure out which one. F? Looks like it's going to be F. I think G is going to be too big. I think G is going to be too big. Looks like F. I don't know, so let's try G. Yeah, let's try G first. See if it fits the bill here.
It ended up being F. G was just a little too large to fit inside the axle tube.
Alright, there we have it. The new seal is installed in the axle, which it did not have any before. Don't know why. Now we got one on this side.
You can't beat a good message board for information regarding your specific vehicle, and in this case, my Firebird. I have been a member of the LS1 Tech message board for almost 20 years now, and I have got countless hours of information off of there. So I went there for the Moser 12 bolt, and someone asked, can anyone tell me the part number for an axle seal for a Moser 12 bolt? And a person below says, tell the auto parts store you need Chicago rawhide seal number 15141. And if you scroll down a little bit, somebody confirms that they spoke to an individual at Moser Engineering, and he said the part number was CR 15141. And I ended up getting CR seals, which is Chicago rawhide, made by SKF 15141.
Fluid. This is probably overkill, and you do not have to do that to your own vehicle. I'm going to put a little bit of this ultra black in there, like I had before.
My comment of like I had before was in reference to doing this repair earlier in the year, wintertime to be exact. I used some ultra black gasket maker to try to stop the gear oil leak on the passenger side, and it ended up leaking again. But this is the video from that procedure.
Just to Now I'm going to step outside and clean this axle off really good with the brake cleaner. I shall return. Alright, I have returned. Use a clean rag. Wipe that off good. Okay, now we're going to put her back in. Alright, now it's time to just put some stuff back together. Alright, back together. I will clean the back side of the wheel off and then we will put it back together.
I'm cleaning off the gear oil that had leaked out and onto the backside of the wheel and tire. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds.
That'll conclude our passenger side axle seal install. Excuse me. Thanks for watching. Here's a quick little update on the axle seal install. I did the rear passenger side seal on the axle on a Saturday, and this is a Wednesday, and there is no new leaks. That spot right there kind of traveling up the tires, the previous leak that I didn't get all the way cleaned off, but there's no dribble down the side wall. The wheel is dry. I've felt in the air from the front, and there's nothing on the concrete, so maybe we got it fixed. Woohoo!
So I did the axle seal install on a Friday. I checked it the following Wednesday and it wasn't leaking, and I checked it 2 days later on Friday and it's leaking again. So I'm at a loss right at this point.
Okay, I'm back. We're going to pull this out and clean it out with some brake cleaner and reseal it really good and let it sit overnight before I totally bolt it back up together tight. Maybe I can get this leak to stop, because I got the driver's side to stop by doing that. And you know, I'm hoping I can be successful with this, because this is getting ridiculous. Getting really good at doing this quick, as many times as I've done it. This would be Friday, exactly 1 week ago since I put this seal in. I guess it took a week of just sitting here, sitting still, because I didn't drive it or move it at all, to start leaking again. And it was like perfectly dry 2 days ago, from what I could tell. So we'll see what we can do. And I'm going to have to get the persuasion bar, pry this puppy back out. There we go. Pull it out. This is one of the space I've got here. Oh yeah, oh yeah, perfect. Oh, perfect. Good, good, good. Okay, so. Let's bring you in for a little closer look here. Get a paper towel. Okay, I'm going to bring you in a little closer so you can see what I've done here. I know it looks kind of messy, but you can see right in here I've not hammered the axle bearing all the way in. I left it out a little bit because I want that ultra black gasket maker to cure that's inside there and make a good seal. So hopefully this will work. I have everything snugged back tight like it should be, and I'm going to leave it like this, slightly jacked up on this side to keep the fluid in the axle away from the gasket maker, and I want it to cure extra well. The package says 24 hours. I'm going to give it like 3 days because I don't want this leak to come back again.